top guys can always find a way to do more. They're the most productive, the most creative, the most type A. And as you push them, they usually answer the call.
The hardest, longest working people typically are your best people. And those people pride themselves on it.
You're listening to Burn Rate and Bullshit,
The show where founders, suits, and corporate clowns all get called the fuck out.
where Josh Robinson, Mike Nathan, and Brian Kippers, entrepreneurs turned VCs.
With zero filters, strong opinions, and a bullshit detector set to high.
Welcome to the only business podcast that actually tells it like it is.
I'm a desperate man. Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.
We've all seen these douchebags on LinkedIn talking about how many hours they worked, how big of a deal they are. Some of it maybe is true. Some of it is they feel like they have to put that image out there to be seen as success, right? How did we get here? How did we get to the point where productivity or the appearance of productivity has almost become a religion? Our background and why we see ourselves being relevant and having a voice for burn rate is that we are entrepreneurs turned venture capitalists.
That's right.
And there's three partners in our firm, Exit 156, you and I, and our third partner, Brian Kippers.
Mm-hmm.
Brian does not office in our corporate office. He does 6 months in a day somewhere south and stays warm, but he's able to make it into town for this week. So we had him going to join us here for a few episodes.
Don't they
Welcome,
call
Brian.
Florida the Wisconsin of the South?
I don't think they do, Mike.
I've never heard anyone say that.
Maybe you did,
That's
though.
kind of crazy.
Oh.
It's the Wisconsin of the South. Crazy
Thanks for having me on the
people
show, though, guys.
There are a lot of... No, I'm not going to say it.
Whenever you hear like, hey, Billy Bob just killed himself with a pickup truck and
Florida
fireworks,
man.
it's Florida.
Man. Yeah.
But if you keep reading through the headlines, they're probably from Wisconsin. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know, high concentration of mass murders, I think, in Wisconsin. Florida's not like that.
Well, there's Dom.
Welcome, Brian.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We're excited to have you on.
No, I'm excited to be the most exciting guest you've had on. So that's awesome. I think it's
Pretty short list, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
It wasn't a real
True
high
story.
bar to
We're not
clear.
talking about the list. We're talking about being number one.
Yeah.
All right, good.
That's right.
How did we get here? How did we get to a point where productivity is seen as a religion?
I think there's a couple of things. I don't think it's just show me, sort of look at me sort of thing. What happened is the consumers.
You don't think it's that?
We got there, but it didn't start there. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Didn't start there. The consumer changed their mind. They want to buy online now. I don't want you to give me a sales call. I don't want you stopping by my door. I don't want to have to go to your lame ass retail outlet. I want to buy it on TikTok between cat videos and burn rate and bullshit. That's what I want to do. And if you want to not be invisible, you have to get online. And some people's presence online isn't exactly what we have coined as digital thought leadership. It's more look at me kind of stuff.
Well, whether it's
Don't
online
you
or
think?
not, like maybe. I mean, I don't think that's why the project manager's doing it, because they're going to always be
The project manager
punching a
shouldn't be
clock or an accountant, right? But like, people in corporate America, whether they're doing it on LinkedIn or if they're just doing it in the office by kind of the humble brag of how many hours they worked the day before.
Right.
Why is that the mentality? Do you think it's the same thing? You think it still stems from people want to buy online?
I think that's given people plenty of permission to do it.
Yeah.
It may not be. You're right. You could be working as a project manager. The guy working or the gal working in the warehouse, and you're throwing stuff up. You're not doing that for a commercial sense.
Right. That's what I mean.
But I think permission now is given to humble brag, talk about yourself.
Yeah.
Where we all grew up, all grew up. Excuse me. You wouldn't talk about yourself like that. That just changed. Period.
It was gross to do something like that.
Yeah, you were braggadocious.
Yeah.
Loudmouth.
Brian, all three of us have kind of started our careers probably like 5-7-ish years apart from one another. Was it like this when you started your career?
Yeah, there was a.
Was there color TV
I
when
just
you
knew
started
I
your
knew that was coming.
career?
I knew it was coming.
I tried to ask that question very
Right?
diplomatically. Leave it to Mike.
My
Throw it
Brian,
in the
this will
dish.
show up on the internet. And what the internet is,
I've heard about it. It's part of the World Wide Web, right? www. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got that thing. I have it in my phone, by the way. I don't know if your phone is as sophisticated as mine. I have the entire internet in my phone. I'll show it to you. I don't know how they fit it in there, but it's pretty damn fantastic. I think many, many years ago when I was a young guy out of school and had that first sales job in an office full of sales guys, there was a certain culture that if you leave early, and early will be defined at 5 o'clock, right? If you leave before 5, you are seen as less of a producer. So it got to be a challenge with all the sales guys. And we were all young. We were all 21 to 30, right? So my calendar typically was in a typical week, like Monday I'd work till like 8, Tuesday till 7, Wednesday till 6, Thursday we had a softball team. So we all left at 5:30 to go play softball, and Friday leave it. Well, sometimes we had happy hour, so 4 o'clock. Yeah. But that was like that. You'd sit at your desk and you'd work on something to show the boss and, more importantly, the guys you work with that you were part of the team. I'm here willing to grind away.
wasn't like I'm first guy in, last guy to go home. First in, first to go.
Yeah, the first guy in back in the day, that would be 6:30. There's a guy there. Yeah. You know.
So would you argue that the it is pretty similar and nothing's really changed other than we now have social media to?
Well, I'd say that what's changed a lot in those years is you can't get away from your work. Like when we would leave, we would leave.
Yeah.
As Mike's comment was, like, there wasn't the internet. There, sales phones
The fuck is
were
an
sales
email?
phones. They weren't cell phones. They were phones in your car to make sales things, right? So you'd walk away and you're done. You're out of the office. So being in the office is a big deal. Now, I think you find a lot of people who brag about how much time they work. Now, some industries have to have that.
Yep.
If you're an investment banker, okay, out of school, expect to spend 70 to 90 hours a week for the next 2 years. That's a different deal. A lot of people like to just talk about how much they work, and it is kind of an American cultural phenomenon, right? Yeah. We work harder than most people, right? Most countries, and we like to brag about how much we're working compared to the other stuff we're doing. We're not bragging about how much time we spend at the lake, how much time we spend doing recreational activities. No one really does that.
No, you're right. When I go to in all my world travels, Josh, when I go to Costa Rica or Italy, to the hustle culture, you think the kids nowadays are lazy? Go to Italy and see how hard they're working.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
Even
They're
Costa Rica.
Spoiler alert.
Costa Rica does have some hustle to them, to be clear, and most of them do not. They bring in, I think it's Honduran immigrants to bring in all their fruit. You got such great fruit and vegetables out of Costa Rica. They don't even do it. They're like our version of the Mexican immigrants or the Latin American immigrants that come over that pick our fruit in California and our vegetables. They do the same thing there. So you're right. It sounds funny to say it out of both sides of your mouth, like the kids are lazy and they're not working and be the old guy, get off my lawn. But you go overseas, anywhere, like, oh, they don't work here.
Yeah, I don't think there's few countries that work as hard as we do. I do think there's a trend in America right now, especially people under 30.
Yeah.
Certain people in that category, recent grads, are heads down. They know that there's a lot of opportunity out there, and they're working extremely hard. Now, it's not everybody under 30, but there's certain groups that are hardcore, working their ass off, because they know there's big opportunity. So maybe it's a cycle. Maybe it's back to the way it was, when I started my career. Maybe there's people out there working like that. Hopefully there is, because there's so much opportunity if you're under the age of 35 today in this country, if you just are willing to work. And a lot of it's the history of America, right? You think about farms going away or being big corporate farms. Yeah. So, if you grow up on a farm, you are forced to learn hard work at such an early stage in life that those guys, when they come off the farm and they go to college, maybe they're the first one in their family to go to college, and they stay in the city, well, those guys are almost always successful. They crush it, these guys.
I tell you what, this is free advice to anybody out there. If you want to hire people, hire farm kids.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You think you want to go to Silicon Valley, New York City, Austin,
Midwest farm
cool
kids,
little places? Bullshit. Do something in Des Moines, Minneapolis, or Milwaukee. You have all kinds of farm kids, Sioux Falls, that'll come in and they'll work their asses off.
I totally agree.
I grew up on a farm, and I would say,
how come you don't work your ass? What happened to you?
Fuck you.
Catch there.
But I mean, my toughest day at work now is better than the best day on the farm. It's just
we used to help I wasn't a farmer, but we used to help the farmers. Throw hay, you'd pick rock. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you'd do. And I always left those sessions. Not fucking doing that.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that's hard work.
good motivator to stay in college. And
But I tell you what, though. So let me talk about both sides. Had I had a cell phone back in those days, hey man, this is me. Look at throwing hay with Brian. Here we go. Probably would be doing that, right?
Absolutely.
that's because you're a media whore.
Not really. I'm slutty-ish.
Ish.
Not a whore.
Come on.
It's got to be enough money.
I'm
Something.
on the slutty spectrum,
But I mean, why aren't there any famous farmer TikTokers? Are there?
Oh, there's got to be.
Ask
I'm
the
sure
interns, they
there
probably
are.
know.
Yeah.
But is it a blonde
now we're
sort of
gonna just-
bombshell, like girl, like he
Driving the tractor.
wearing my Daisy Dukes, or do we have some guy in like actual coveralls, like Carhartt coveralls or whatever the brand is now?
There's got to be.
I'm asking you, Josh, as a farmer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Former farmer.
I've not kept up on the farming
Yeah.
social media.
You're not a farmer. You're farmer
channels,
adjacent.
but
Is that what
I'm
you're
farmer adjacent now.
Sounds like you're about into this podcast thing. A quick word before we get into it, because today's topic might be one that makes you finally ask the question. We're talking about the productivity cult and why high performers are quietly checking out. If you're listening to this and thinking you might be one of them, the firefighter, the go-to person, the one quietly updating their LinkedIn at night, there's a version of your life where those systems work for you instead of working for someone else. And that's the Impero way. It's the operating system I use to run my own ventures, built on what I call the mirror, the map, and the hammer. The mirror is knowing your why, your purpose so you don't quit later. And the map is your offer, specifically, the people, your systems. And the hammer is that focused, massive activity, the one area that matters the most. Now, most high performers skip the mirror and go right to the hammer and burn out for somebody else's outcome. This fixes that. Go to imperoventures.com, the Impero way. There's the course, there's the coaching with me, or the done for you, depending on how much time you want to spend. Stop being somebody else's fire extinguisher. Build something that compounds for you, because owning is greater than earning. All right, let's get into it here at Burn Rate and Bullshit.
So do you think, Brian, so if there's been this lull in people wanting to work hard, you're starting to see it come back, but there was a lull for a while. Do you think that's why the people that have been working really hard are being kind of singled out as these heroes and continue just to dump more on them? Because there's not been as many of them? Or why do you think?
Well, I think the rule of thumb, and it was when I was running Apex back in the day, your top performers of your company can always do more is the mindset of a CEO, right? Kind of my mindset. Yeah. You can, everybody wants to, coach up the bottom. That's a waste of time. The bottom.
That sounds neat, but it sounds
waste
of time.
Like you're being a nice guy. Coach up the bottom. Are you going to take your worst players on your football team and say we should spend more time in the gym? And no, they're not going to. They're never going to catch the touchdown. They're never going to score. They're never going to do whatever. It's the top guys can always find a way to do more. They're the most productive, the most creative, the most type A. And as you push them, they usually answer the call. They bitch about it when as you're putting budgets together for the year and say, hey, here's your new quota, or here's X amount what you're going to need to do next year. It's 10% more you did last year. And then the argument is, well, how come, Billy Bob over here is only going to get a 2% increase in quota? Because for him, that's like a moonshot.
Yeah.
He can barely tie his shoes in the morning. Right. He's just trying to keep his job. We'll give him that. We'll give you 10% more, 12% more, 30% more. Those guys hit it.
Yeah.
And that's where but that's the cycle. That's how you burn out those people.
I was gonna say, how do you know when they're getting close to a crack?
Yeah, they leave.
Yeah.
You miss it. It's like, because you keep telling them to do more, and eventually they're so productive, so important, so special, they get a job offer for $100,000 more than you're paying them. Mm-hmm. They're like, I'm leaving. Because you've been beating the piss out of me for 3 years or 4 years, and I can go across the street and work 20 hours less and make $100,000 more, and they're gone.
So as a CEO, is that worth it? Do you just keep churning through people like that, or should you think about it differently?
Yeah, if you're turning through people, you got a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, a certain amount of turnover is always good in every organization. Mm-hmm. You want certain people to leave. Even the top performers. I mean, okay, if you lose one, let's say you got 4, small company, you got 4. You lose one, well, it's 25%. Why they leave? It could just be the natural cycle. Mm-hmm. Hey, this guy does this wherever he goes. He's 6-7 years of kicking ass, and then he just turns and goes to the next company and makes the next big chunk of money.
I think back on where all the places I've been at, and I believe there's a direct correlation, and I'm sure you'll stop me if you don't think this is true. The hardest, longest working people typically are your best people. Mm-hmm. Likely, especially in sales, that's almost always true. There's always this mythical like, he just walks up, he makes 2 calls, and he made his number for the quarter. Not likely. They probably had 50 calls put in. He or she put in a dozen calls well before this. Yeah, it looks like it just landed, but they worked it. People that work long, and those people pride themselves on it. And if you allow, because we're talking about the idea of get your C players to B players, and B players to A players. Yeah, spend your time supporting your A players. Because some people are just going to die on the... You spend... Then you'll get retention.
Yep.
And they don't want to be in a culture where you babysit C players.
Yep. Or
babysit, low functioning B players. You want to keep the B players too, because you do need a whole team, to be clear. But those hardworking people, those A players, are almost always frustrated. It's the hidden agenda stuff. It's not the money, but it's the, God, I can't believe we're going to fucking have Josh still hang on to this podcast. Just
dead weight.
And B players do have the ability to become A players, right?
Yes.
And A players want to hang around other A players. If you have a bunch of Ds, those A players may leave then. You may have a loss of your top performers because there's too many mutants in your company. You got to get, shoot them, get them out as fast as you can, because they're just a disaster.
Like mutant zombies, like you shoot them, like 2 in the head, stake through the heart kind of a thing.
You might need to do that for some of them. Let's talk about A players, B players, C players, and D players. Like,
how do you get more of them?
Let's say that's your team, right?
So how do you get more A players?
Yeah, it's a great question.
You got to create the culture for A players to want to join you. The same way you'd create any culture anywhere to attract employees.
Yep.
To get those A players, you create the ultimate A player environment. And then when those A players are around your C's and D's, and let's understand what a D player is. A D player is somebody that you are spending 80% of your management time dealing with 10 or 20% of your employees. Like they're a small percentage of your company, and it's killing you how much management time is spent with them, and everybody sees that. All the other A players see it, and they're okay. I'm trying to make a sales call with my CEO, but all he is digging around at these people who need to be fired. And that comes across all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The A players see that, so they want to be around other A players. The best way to attract them: identify first of all who are your A, B, C's, and D's. Mm-hmm. So you have a real crisp and clean process to identify the people at the bottom.
Brian, do you think you can develop those A players?
I think you can develop an A player from a B player, because that B player has the potential to go it's one step up. Yeah. It's not that far away. If you are a D player, you'll never be an A player, ever. Ain't gonna happen.
Agreed.
And that person is probably in the wrong company, in the wrong job.
Yep.
And the longer you let that person sit there, the worse you are doing for your company, but the worse you're doing for them. If you want to help them out,
don't coach them up.
Fire them. Get rid of them immediately.
Yeah.
Have them go to a company that would support them.
Yeah.
I
think you're spot on. It's a waste of time to be developing your D and C players, maybe even some of your Bs. Don't do it. Spend your time attracting more A players and B players. That I think is where CEOs ought to focus in the future. Absolutely. It reminds me of the C and D players. You guys remember Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross,
absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Alec Baldwin's giving his big speech, right? I'm here from downtown. I'm here from Mitch and Murray. And the real favor is to fire your fucking ass because a loser is a loser.
That's right.
I would soften that a bit on the edges before you approach your D
HR
players.
might have something to say
HR
about
might
that.
have, a thought or two, a couple tweaks, a couple of tweaks to your language. But it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
A loser
that's
is a
the real
loser.
fit.
Yep.
And it's sometimes you feel like I've got to fire them. Brian, how many people are in sales that ought not to be? Who think they're good at sales? Like, I'm good at talking to people. Dummy, it's not talking to people.
Yeah.
It's getting people to do something you're asking them to do. It's different.
I'm a people person. I want to be in sales.
How many people ought not to be in sales? I mean, half of the salespeople out there today should not be in sales.
Nope. They went there because the money's there and they couldn't get a job anywhere else. So they took that job, right? I'm going to be a salesman.
I love that, yeah.
And then they suck at it. Now, part of that problem is they've never been formally trained how to be a professional salesman. They think it is, like you mentioned, hey, I like to talk to people and shake hands and just, that's not how it is.
Oh, it is.
You're trying to create an environment where people want to buy. That's the great salesman. They're not selling you anything. You even create this environment where you want to buy, and then there's an action item. You're getting that person to say or do something at the end.
So do you think getting the C and the D players out helps with the burnout of the A players?
Yep. So again, there's a million analogies you can use. Sports is the easiest. So you're on a team, and pick football, pick hockey, pick baseball, right?
Pick the Vikings.
The Vikings, I think the Vikings are a good organization, and I think they're getting better. But they've just had a slew of horrible picks, which I think it's only gone on for 55 years. But they're about done with it. I think they're
Brian,
done.
he's asking you for an analogy, and I feel like I'm always the analogy guy, and I've got lots of them.
Do you have one right for this right now?
Well, I'm just thinking like J.J. McCarty.
Yeah.
For a quarterback. Is he an A player? Nope. We need to stick around to coach him up? Sure as hell hope not.
Apparently
we are. Yeah, maybe we are. So maybe this is backup quarterback. So think of those scenarios. I don't think there's an 100% true line. Which guy has ever worked out who didn't work out right away? Other than the guy who just won the Super Bowl.
Well, besides him.
Other than the guy who just won the Super Bowl.
I think
I've got great history here. This is a great line.
So think about this. So let's say if you're Justin Jefferson. So you are the A of the A's, right?
Yeah.
He does almost everything perfectly. You think you want to be on that team and getting a ball that's 3 feet behind you every frickin' weekend?
Yeah.
No, fuck it. I'm gonna go. He can go. He's made all the money in the world. He can do anything and go anywhere. He'll say, I want to be traded. That's the risk you run. And now let's get off the Vikings and get on to the real world. You've got your 20-person HVAC company, or you're running a consulting company, or HVAC might be a good one. You've got 8 techs in the field. I guarantee you, if there's 8 techs, 2 of them are your go-to guys. Mm-hmm. Hey, we've got this Lennox system on the top of this building. 2 guys have been out there. They can't figure it out. Boom. Here's your 2 top guys. They go there. They figure it out in 15 minutes. The item's fixed. Customer's happy. So in that little...
Except you sent them out last week to do the same thing, and the week before that, and you're going to send them out...
Well, that's a different... yes, that's what happened.
You keep sending those guys out, and that's a tough job.
Yeah.
You get on top of a building when it's 95 degrees out, and the top of that building's 120.
And A players will do that. The difference
for a while.
They got cousin Jed over there, the buddy of the owner of the thing, who's just the sled. He's number 8 out of 8. He's like, I can't find the building. Like, he can't even get there to fuck it up, right? I mean, when he does get there, you hit him. That A player's gonna be like, come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're hanging out with
and that's
Jethro.
why they leave. That's why they leave.
Yeah.
So I have some interesting statistics that I found. Gallup.
Is that math? Statistics? Is that?
I think it is.
It's kind of math-ish. Gallup. You've heard of them?
Heard of them.
Yeah.
It's a horse thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trot.
Yeah, that's what a horse
From
does.
Trot.
Global employee engagement dropped over 20% last year
Not
to
surprised.
the lowest level in over a decade. And they, I don't know how they put an estimate on this, but they put an estimate of that's a loss of $430 billion in lost productivity.
Well, I would say as a recovering CEO with formerly 100 people working, seems on brand.
Yeah,
I can identify, can relate.
so that same study had this statistic: 69% of C-suite executives seriously considered quitting their jobs last year.
So that's like
A
70%.
rise to 75%. It was last year,
Holy
69% the year before.
Right? 3 out of 4?
3 out of 4. We've had this conversation about C-suite execs before are a problem on a number of things. Christ.
Why would you want that job? Why would you want to be the CEO of...
The money, the pay, the prestige,
right? The pay, and I said this with sales guys or anybody who wants to raise in your business, right? The pay solves a problem for a pay period. Then they're back to the problems they already had. Mm-hmm. So if you have a performer in your company and they're saying, oh my God, I'm not getting paid enough, and you want to keep them, so you give them the 10 or 20 grand raise. They'll be happy for the next month. Then they're back bitching about the same stuff they're bitching about. They're not a cultural fit. Mm-hmm. And CEOs, do you want to really be a CEO of 100-person or the last year I ran my company, I had almost 200 employees.
No sane person would want to be a CEO knowing what it actually is.
The only thing worse about being a CEO from a 200-person company is being a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Mm-hmm. That would be a death sentence for most people. I can't imagine. First of all, there's personal liability in that role. You make bad decisions. There's a potential, jail term that could reach that. You got to be very
There's
strict.
personal liability in being a CEO?
You can, yes.
Rumor has it.
Like you could actually get served with a lawsuit?
You may get served with a lawsuit.
Possibly.
Cool.
I've heard some guys that happens to.
It's a good note.
Good note. Tuck that one away.
Put that in the...
You put it in your World Wide Web? No.
Claude, commit to memory that...
Commit to memory. Okay, good.
So I think that's why you're seeing a dissatisfaction. You're seeing people who don't take the job because they're like, why would I be the CEO? Why can't I be, whatever else job, a lower level job, making some money and not have to have the fingers pointed to me at the end of the night?
But 75%.
That's a lot.
All of that still makes sense to me. I mean, everybody gets pissed at their job. But the reason you show up is because you get paid. So there's not always
what they
going to
call
be
work.
sunshine and rainbows.
Yep.
But 75 is a huge number.
Yeah.
75 is a gross number. If you have 3 and 4 executives
Who don't want to be there?
Don't want to be there, or thinking of quitting. If you're thinking of quitting, you're thinking of dipping out to either the competition or someplace else, and or maybe you AO1, jump out, start your own thing, and compete against
Army of One.
Army of One. I've heard of that around. Lot of
Trademark
talk
pending.
Talk around
Should
that.
trademark pending. Army of One is a thing. And that's what they're going to go quit to do. Half of them will go quit to start their own thing.
Yeah.
The other will jump to the competition. I don't know. But that would scare the shit out of me if I had,
Right.
if I had a senior awesome team. So I agree, Brian. You better have a culture that's locked in where A players want to stick around. And that might come at a cost.
So
Literally.
put yourself in the shoes of that A player. How do you protect yourself from burning out without being the perennial, bitcher and whiner of the company?
Yeah. Number one, stop bitching and whining. That's a mindset. You got to stop.
But how do you push back and say, hey, this is more than I can handle. This is going to push me over the edge.
I think you voice those
without
concerns, but you have to be ready to know that you're kind of a man on an island. They're coming to you for a reason. If you're the designated hitter, you get put in there for a reason, right? You don't get put in there to strike out. You're supposed to hit a home run.
I like the sports analogies.
Isn't it good? I don't even know much about sports either. And I can still hit it out of the
You
park.
know plenty about
Boom.
sports.
Boom.
That's what you call it, designated
Mike
hitter.
Trout.
Okay, I'm done. That's too many. Just so many good ones in a row here. Surprised that wasn't on sooner. This is going so
It's
well.
going to grow great. It's going to grow. But you're asking, what are you asking?
How do you keep yourself
If
in the
you
burnout?
are the high performer,
Yep.
that
If I'm the
individual
high- so he was talking from the voice of the CEO.
We've been talking about it from a management perspective. Flip the script and talk about it from the individual's perspective. How do you protect yourself? Because I agree with Brian that if they continue to come to you for these things, it is a signal of your own success. And it should be, you should take that as for the compliment that it is. And it can get to be too much.
So
3 out of 4 executives are at the point where it's too much for them. So how, as an individual, how do you protect yourself without being the guy bitching for another 20
now
grand?
I understand the question.
Okay.
I'm prepared
You
to answer it.
you listened this time?
This
Okay.
time. I think it's super simple. Ask for more money. That will help. That will help you because guess what's gonna happen? If I hey, Josh, thanks for asking me to do this for the 7th fucking time this week. Happy to do it. Here's what I'm gonna need from you though. Because I'm gonna dip into the well and do it. Need you to pay me more. Or
I might have to.
let me work as a BC player. Because that's one of the ways I'm gonna stop you from over asking me. I don't want to be taken advantage of here. I want to be helpful. In fact, I want to do more. I want to be your most valuable person. That should be reflected in my paycheck.
Yeah. And then ask for support. If the
See, I was
CEO,
saying, it may not always be money, right?
money
It may not be.
Depends on the pay scale. Like some of these guys make a lot of money, and another, like my top sales rep one time made $600 grand, right?
Yeah.
Another 50 grand for him is just a bigger tax liability. It's not gonna move the needle for him.
Yeah.
But what he needed was support, no pushback. A complaint from a sales rep would be every time I come up with a deal, so and so is telling me this deal isn't perfect. They want a different type of contract. I can't have any more.
I can't
static.
sign if it's less than 3
How about
years.
you give me a sales ops person that can actually spell sales? Let's start there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And build
Says
around
the
them.
CFO.
Same with like
Says the fucking CFO.
I'm the most
My-
sales-friendly CFO that has ever CFO'd.
wow.
I have found that to be true.
Thanks, Claude.
Josh is amazing.
But also, you'll think of people outside of sales, right? Because they're always the
Are
easiest.
there people outside it?
In your world, no.
Or what are they called?
But so we had
Humans. You call them humans.
humans or humanoids. I think that's what their new robots are called. You think about a production
Units of
facility.
economic input.
That's a
Revenue
good,
by human.
Speaking of CFO, that's a great CFO comment. If you're in production, so we had a production facility, right, with 2 of them, and you always had your A players in production. The people that are touching the most critical jobs, the most secure jobs, the ones that you cannot have any errors.
They've seen it broke. They know how to fix it. All the things.
They're the best, right? And then when the company makes a mistake and you get behind, it's not production employees who get you behind. It's management fuck something up. Either we did this upgrade in the system. I mean, the data didn't come for 4 days. So now you guys got to work your ass off for 2 weeks. Those A players are the ones that end up working Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. At one point in time, at my business, I had our production employees work 4 weekends in a row. So a lot of risk there, but those A players are the first ones who are working. The other ones down the road, you'd ask them, "Oh, I can't make it. It's grandma's birthday. I got to do this. I got to do lunch." I mean, all these excuses. Which, hey, all that stuff goes on in everybody's life, but the A players find a way to work around it. But those are the ones that can be easily burned out in a production environment. It's physically demanding. All of our production employees are on their feet. You want to burn somebody out, put them on their feet 55 hours a week, running equipment. Eventually, you're going to have quality errors, and then they're going to get frustrated. And we did have somebody, eventually she quit. She was an A player, and she's like, "I'm just sick and tired of this." Her parents died. She inherited the house. She's like, "I don't need more money than this. I'm leaving." And she was great. And that was because you work somebody like weekends in a row. This is what you get. Mm-hmm. And the reason you have to do it because someone made some bad decisions. As a CEO, you take responsibility for that. But then it's because
consequences to that, right?
These freaking D players are dragging those people down.
Well, Josh, you asked the right question a second ago.
I usually do.
I never hear him.
It was written. I think it was written. You missed it.
Was that in the show prep?
Show prep.
Okay. Right. Sounds French. I was going to ask you, I think that you're asking the right question around, so what do you do other than money? Mm-hmm. Isn't it just old-fashioned appreciation?
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure if I know you well, and I think I do, I better, you probably went onto the floor, slapped a few back, shook a few hands, paid for lunch maybe, or, any myriad of, let me just show you appreciation other than send it through an email. Appreciate everybody working this weekend. I'll be in Cabo, so just let me know how it all turns out.
The boat needs gas, so I have to fill it up, and I have my jet ski issues.
But let me ask, did you show up some of those Saturdays and Sundays?
Yeah.
And
it wasn't like I was showing up to work. I'm showing up to show the appreciation of the people. You hit it on the head, like when you said, just shake some hands. First of all, do you know people's names? You learn people's. You got a company of less than 100 employees. You better know all their names. If not, you're a loser as a CEO.
Agree.
And then show appreciation. How many people go in their entire career, decades, where the boss never comes over and says thank you?
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you people our age, we have stories of that happening all the time. So maybe it's not about the money. It's not about the benefits. It's not about the options. Just say thank you.
Well, I think it comes down to knowing your individual employees well enough to understand what is seen as appreciation to them.
Yep.
Because for some people, it may be more money, right? For me, I never wanted the birthday card or the recognition in the team meeting. Motherfucker, just pay me more money. That's all. That's what motivated me, right? And that doesn't motivate everyone all the time. So knowing your employees well enough to know what is it that motivates them? Is it the slap on the back in front of everyone else on the production floor? Because that means something to some people. And so
people of honor, for sure it does. Yeah.
Right. And so I think all of this these are examples of symptoms of, and you touched on this before, Brian, management. They can fuck stuff up. And this is one of the ways that they can do that. And so that same Gallup survey that I mentioned earlier had that 70% of all team engagement issues can be traced back to management. And less than 50% of managers have ever had formal management training.
Yeah.
So as the CEO, what can you do about the A player, the productivity cult? My argument would be invest in your management team.
Yeah.
And formally and informally get them ready to actually lead a team.
We have talked about this once before. When I think about the one we've most recently been associated with, Mendota Health, lots of remote people all around the country. And how do you show appreciation to somebody that you're not going to see? Like, hey, this year I'm not going to hit 30 different markets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not going to travel to 30 different places to meet everybody. I got, high growth company. You got other shit to do. But we would get on a monthly all employee lead, and it almost felt canned because we said it so much, or I said it so much. It was, hey guys, thank you. although it never was canned for me, it was that appreciation outward, right? And everyone's different. Some people like to hear it because to tell you what happens if you never say it, if you mean it or not. What's the first thing somebody says if anyone say, hey, I really appreciate you guys helping? 2 minutes after that fucking virtual call's over, well, Mike doesn't even care because he didn't say anything.
Yep.
He didn't say that he liked it.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, I said it 18 times in a row as one example. But I do think you have to find a way to
It might have been that you were calling in from Costa Rica with the palm trees behind you.
I never did that. That's rumor.
Yeah.
That's rumor.
I've got the video. I recorded it.
But that was something else. My point.
Something totally different.
Oh, that was
Totally.
to lay everyone off. That's right.
Oh my Christ. Oh Lord.
Good call.
Here's my point. You're right to push it down to the management from the CEO level. Like, hey, it can't be just me high-fiving, backslapping, zooming or on Teams telling people, hey, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
My next level down better have that culture of gratitude, ingratiated in them to make sure other people are, bought in. Because the farther down that chain of leadership, of management, supervision, however you want to think about it, they better be doing that. And you're right, Josh, investing in management is probably your safest bet to avoid that.
Well, just hearing our conversation, I think it would be safe to say the three of us agree that we should continue to have those A players.
Mm-hmm.
You should continue to lean on them when you have something difficult and challenging and critical for the business. That is the group to go to. I don't think any of us are advocating not that.
No, don't wear them out. Go to the guy you know is going to fuck it up.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
So if this productivity culture is a reality and it's something we think should continue, then what do you do about it to manage people from burning out? I think that's where it comes down to me is you got to do, whether it's management or your own type of how you show up, you just got to figure out how to keep them from being burnt out.
Money, appreciation, recognition. It's some of the oldest stuff and people forget it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You're likely good with one, but not the other, right? Because you also can,
But
hey,
then
Jimmy,
have
you're
someone
doing a
on
good
your
job.
team
You're doing
that's
a good
better
job,
at what
Jimmy.
you're not, right? And figure out what your weakness or your gap is and then have your...
That's just it. Yeah, you can't again, hey, I said thank you every employee meeting. Cool. You realize I worked double shifts for a month. A thank you's not going to do it, bro.
Not going to do it.
Maybe a gift card to Caribou. Little Starbucks gift card, as the kids like to say.
An $8 gift card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for working the doubles.
Here's
the
$8.
doubles.
Here's some caffeine.
Yeah,
You got to
great.
work tonight too,
By the way, you can use it in the morning before you punch in.
Here's a back support brace because you're going to be lifting a lot of heavy shit today. I appreciate
Dr.
your work.
Scholl's insoles, maybe.
Yeah.
Need that. They a sponsor, by the way? Should I say that? No.
Ooh,
Dr.
No, they could
Red
be.
Wing,
be.
they're local-ish.
Yeah. Red Wing shoes. Great shoes.
Any final thoughts?
No, I think we've covered a lot. I think we've covered a lot of the big topics and maybe created more questions than answers. But I think with some of the things we've said that I think people will have some action items. If you're running a business, you have some action items now that we've given you that you can go and do something and help ultimately drive your company to greater success and take care of your people.
You have to figure out what parts of your business are like 6-year-old soccer and which ones aren't. There are times you can't treat everybody the same way all the time. And you have to do some of the other stuff. You got to bring lemonade and cookies and orange slices and make sure you go through the motions on a lot of the stuff. I think that wraps it. That's a pretty good wrap.
Yeah.
6-year-old
Scene.
6-year-old soccer.
That's it for this round of Burn Rate and Bullshit.
Where the only thing we sugarcoat is our coffee.
If you liked what you heard, great. If you didn't, fuck you. Even better, because we're not here to make friends.
Hit like and subscribe. Send this to a manager who calls burnout a growth opportunity. And remember, hype dies, execution wins. Protect your energy like it's equity.
Next time on Burn Rate and Bullshit, hospitals love to tell you they're mission-driven. Right up until labor and delivery doesn't pencil out on spreadsheet. If your health system just approved a $200 million glass lobby while closing its maternity ward, you're not in healthcare anymore. You're in hospitality arbitrage with a nonprofit tax status.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. The shit has hit the fan.